Hi guys, how are you doing? Very welcome here. I'm going to introduce myself for whoever doesn't know me yet. I'm Bianca Bruni and I'm a survivor of satanic ritual abuse when I just was 3 years old, and in general of satanic and cult persecutions throughout my whole life. So today, as promised, we are going to talk about a quite sensitive topic, that it is energy harvesting throughout sexual abuse of children especially, and the consequences that this kind of traumatizing event can hold over your soul on a spiritual level. So I'm not going today to explain and to tell you my story, because unfortunately I don't actually feel ready yet to vocalize my experience and my memories about that. It is still quite open wound for me, and I even believe that this is not actually the right place and the right moment in order for me to talk about you, about my experience. So I just want to give you some basic information in order to be able to protect yourself, to heal yourself, and in order to give an aid to victims and survivors, especially children, if they unfortunately face this kind of experience. So before we get started, I would like to clear the space, so I take advantage to show you a basic way in order to protect your energy field, your energetic field, and in general you can use this method in order to clear your house and spaces into your house from evil energies or evil interferences. So I'm using a Palo Santo stick. It's new, this one. And so we just need to basically light it up with a flame. It's better if you use a candle, but in this specific occasion I'm going to just light it up with a lighter. So you have to literally burn it out, since a big flame forms. You let it burn just few seconds in order to be able to deliver. Okay, like this. Okay, this is good. I'm going to clear the space here. What I do is basically I clear all my chakras, especially the throat chakra, because it's the most affected right now, and even I need to talk to you. So it's a good thing to always clear your throat chakra before you are going to maybe talk publicly or to express something important. You want to be sure to have the right words and to do it the right way. So I'm literally spreading the Palo Santo around throughout my body, clearing all the spaces. This is very effective in order to be sure to create an holy space around you, and to be sure to pull away all kinds of unwanted interferences and evil energy that might surround you, okay? Another very effective method I used throughout this past month of spiritual warfare is the bell. Don't laugh, please, because I promise you, these kind of entities and low vibrational energies really hate this kind of sound, the sound of the bell. It really makes them run away. So if you fear that your house might hold some unwanted presence, be sure to have in your house a bell like this. And you just simply want to bell it like this. Like this, it's enough. Just like this is enough, and I promise you, very effective. So, okay, I finally feel ready So, okay. Doing so, I finally feel ready to start. The topic we are going to talk about today, it's quite sensitive topic, and especially we don't really gotta know the consequences that a heavy traumatizing event, and especially sexual abuse, can bring to the persona. So it's well known, of course, that after a sexual abuse, we used to treat this kind of traumatizing experiences only on a physical and psychological level. What the most of people ignore is that this kind of brutal experiences hold very strong consequences even on a spiritual level, on a soul level and energetic level. And the most of supporters and helpers that are supposed to help the victims and survivors, the majority of them fully ignore all the issues that we are going to that I'm going to explain you today. So I truly believe that all of this is especially important. What is really the effect that happens on a soul level, on energetic level, after the sexual abuse? So during the sexual abuse, the child, and this is a protection that God gave us in order to survive and for the children to cope to the traumatizing experience of the abuse. So it's not uncommon, especially if these events happen at an early stage, at an early age, meaning before 7. What happens to the mind? In order to survive the brutality of the event, literally the mind split, creating another identity that it is normally called alter. And the main identity, the main persona, most of time is not even aware to have some other alters inside his consciousness. This is a very well-known fact that all these kind of satanic cults and witchcraft, they all know very well how this process works. So you can find trace of this knowledge even inside the Bible, because we are talking about methods and techniques, evil techniques, of course, very shameful techniques that are practiced since the beginning of times. I mean, you can literally find in the Old Testament testimonies of this kind of practice and how this can affect the soul on a deeper level. So in order to survive, the children, the mind of the children split into another alter, into another identity, in order for the main identity to not remember actually the event and the traumatizing experience. This, for example, happened to me because I actually remember very well before the event and the after event, so when I woke up, but I cannot remember everything that happened during the event, despite on a deeper level, on a gut feeling, I really know what happened, and I know that anything that happened was very dark, very rude, and very heavy for me to remember, So on a deeper level, I know what happened, but this memory loss can be beneficial from a side, because the children, of course, doesn't remember the brutality of the experience, but from the other side can create a great discomfort for the survivor, because this memory it's very uncomfortable for the person, and it can actually create a state of anxiety in the attempt for the mind to put together all the pieces trying to get answers and to get information about what really happened. But normally these kind of events are quite lost in a smoke screen. I mean, what they normally use in order to isolate the victim is to cover with literally confusion spell that prevent the survivor to actually get answers and the information he seeks in order to heal, in order to understand what happened in this specific moment or situation. For example, on my experience, I'm almost 35 years old, and I wasn't able yet to know the name of the place, the name of the village where I've been abused. So, and that not because my parent doesn't want to give me this information, but because the people, the perpetrators who made this violence towards me, they actually cover this with a confusion spell in order to isolate me and create even more uncomfortable feelings over this event. It's not uncommon that you are going to face a lot of hardship in order to receive the information you seek, in order to receive the answer you wanna know. It's a very sensitive and very dark topic, I'm aware, but nowadays, unfortunately, this kind of practices never have been so common like today. So we must share awareness, and we must share knowledge about these kind of practices, these kind of rituals and abuse, because it's very, very usual today, and the number of victims is increasing year through years. So, because the energy harvesting never reached such a high level like today. So I truly believe speaking about this topic never was so important as it is now. So during the sexual abuse, we don't only have, I repeat myself, physical and psychological effects, but we even have a spiritual effect as well. The soul, I told you, the soul during the event can literally split into other alters, and if it's not the case, in any way, the soul is so much affected from the brutality and the violence of the sexual abuse that the soul is shattered and broken into pieces. So the consequence of this shattering is that the power and the energy of the children that the children have inside. And why they use children? Because actually children preserve innocence, and innocence has a lot of light, and they don't choose children randomly. They choose children that are normally especially gifted in order through the abuse to harvest energy and to siphon energy from these children, especially if they do it through sexual abuse. They siphon energy from the sacred chakra, so the root chakra of the child, that held a lot of power in the sexual act. And if we arrive, unfortunately, to the extreme to kill the children, there is a full transfer of power from the child to the perpetrator, to the killer, or the practitioner, the heavy practitioner. So there is not only a sexual reason, so for, as we say, a sexual attraction towards the children. Yes, there might be even this aspect at certain point, but the most of these cults, satanic cults, Freemasonry, covenant of witchcraft, why they all do this? In order to increase their power, to increase their energy level, for example, to heal from a disease, a chronic disease, a deadly disease. They use the energy of children in order to gain energy to use for all their wicked intent. It's very dark to believe, and it might appear like impossible to think or discussing, but I promise you this is absolutely real. And the proportion of these phenomena never was so high and so common like it is nowadays, because we are in a very sensitive time, and they really need a lot of power, because we are at the end of the days, at the end of the game. So never like today, they need energy in order to face the warfare, the spiritual warfare that is happening right now. So I don't want to go too much deeper into the details about what actually happens to the soul, and about this split of consciousness that STD, it is called STD, the split personality disorder. I mean, there is a scientific and psychological terminology for that, but I don't want really to dive too deep into this, because it is not actually my field, and I don't really think it is beneficial at this point to add too much information about this process. So what is absolutely imperative is to be able to give the survivor and the victim an immediate help, even on a spiritual level, in order to put the soul back together, and in order to minimize the effects happening from the energy harvesting through the abuse. So in order to give back the child the full control on the vessel, the body vessels, and the full balance on a soul and energetic level. So how we can do this? We must seek the help of a mentor, of a spiritual mentor, a professional that studied years actually, that is fully aware of how these satanic cults, of how these Freemasonry cults operate, and their method, how they perpetuate the trauma throughout the life of the children, because sometimes the children is not even aware, and sometimes memory resurrects actually many years later throughout, for example, dreams, the dream state, throughout flashbacks, or throughout deja vu. So it can be very unpleasant for the victim to recollect his memory, or even to recognize to have been part, unfortunately, of this kind of traumatizing experiences. So on my experience, what I can tell you surely is that since I found this effective support from a mentor, a professional that was able actually to give me a great counselor on a spiritual level, I was actually able, but not in years, literally day by night. When you seek the guidance of a spiritual mentor that is able to put together your soul, and they do this through prayers of deliverance, literally the healing process happens in a day. I mean, through God you can heal in a moment. I can promise you, throughout my experience, I woke up the next day feeling energized, feeling a balance and a control on a physical level, on a mental level, and on an energetic level that I never knew before in almost 35 years. So believe me if I say that that happened to me, for sure it will happen to you or to your child if he unfortunately went through this heavy experience. So we must seek the counselor and the support of someone that is prepared. So guys, sorry for the interruption, but as it was expected, they're creating me more problem than I should have in order to make this video. So I'm going to start again since I was interrupted. What I was saying is that when you actually seek the help of a spiritual mentor, that is actually a ministry of prayer that will help you with prayers of deliverance and with a full method throughout the Word of God and prayers in order to put your soul back together and in order to reconnect you to the source, because this is very important. This kind of events actually disconnect you from universe and from the power of source, with all the benefit that this can have for you, for your body, mind and soul and spirit. So it's this kind of spiritual mentor, they study literally years in order to fully know and be aware of the wicked method, this kind of cults, Freemasonry cults, satanic cults, or covenant of witchcraft, the methods they use in order to perpetuate abuse and in order to perpetuate the harvesting and the siphoning of energies from their victims. So it's not only the abuse itself, the abuse is just the beginning that allows them to create a connection, a sort of code of energy that links them to your aura, to your energy field, in order for them to be able to siphon from your energy throughout your whole life. So there is not a sort of, there is a sort of, I can say, a stair of passages that they follow, but the good part of this is that the counseling and the support is tailor-made specifically for your own situation, because each case is of course different from one another. So for example, my experience, I don't want to tell you right now about my personal experience, because it might mislead you and might give you more anxiety that you should have, or because unfortunately my own case is quite one of a kind and not in a good sense. So the good part of this kind of support is that it's literally specific for each case, and they treat each case singularly and very specifically in a way that they can give you help and help you healing specifically in a tailor-made way suited for your own situation. So the good thing when you seek the help of God is that God can heal you day from night to the day by night. So it's immediate healing compared to other methods, like for example psychiatry or psychology that I tried, of course, throughout my life, that actually give you just a codependency from this kind of sessions without truly give you healing and without actually being really able to help you. The association I found out of the blue and very randomly, but I'm realizing now that this was God guidance all along. It is called Bride Ministry. It is a Catholic association specialized on the treatment of satanic ritual abuse and in general sexual abuse and heavy trauma, and they are really very well prepared in order to help the victims and the survivors. So you will even find a very big community in which you can feel like not alone. You can find support, you can share your experiences and know other people's experience. It's a full community that actually can help you a lot and can give you a literal and functioning way out of this mess and out of the darkness that too often the victim face throughout their lives, especially if you were a very gifted child and you still are a very gifted person, still holding light into yourself. They will not let you go. Of course they will not let you go, and you will notice when you start this journey of healing, this process, you will notice how they literally want to hang on your energy. So that's why the devil, the evil forces, demons, and all these kind of evil people that actually have demonic attachments to them, because when you take part to these cults, literally in the affiliation, you are associated to demonic entities. So they don't want us to know how to protect ourselves, how to heal yourself. They actually want to perpetuate trauma and to keep you stuck in darkness. So I truly suggest you not to go too much deep alone into the memories of these traumatic events, of these brutal experiences alone, because actually when you dig too much deep into these memories, you can face the risk to go into heavy depression, dark night of the soul. You can feel desperate and lonely. And this is absolutely something you want to avoid, despite when you know where to go and which kind of counseling to seek. You will find that your situation will improve from night by day. So it's immediate healing. So this association is called Bright Ministry. I promise you, of my experience was absolutely fantastic. Despite I'm still facing hardship, but I repeat, my situation is quite one of a kind. So don't you worry about this. They are very prepared, they are professional, they study a lot of years. They are very serious in that and committed. So you will literally find the perfect support you need, or victims and especially children needs. So I will put down in the description box all the links you need in order to book your coaching session. And in order to, I don't know, investigate more and find more information, if you, of course, want to make some research yourself. This was the main way I was able to actually recover my situation and actually change from the perspective of the victim to a perspective of awareness and full control of myself, my past. I now have all the answers. I now found myself in a position of full awareness, of full knowledge of the process, of what happened, of their methods. I literally know way better and how to cope with this kind of interference and with this kind of persecution, okay? So another thing, and I'm almost ending this video, so I'm very happy and satisfied about how I approached my first video. So I'm very proud of myself. So the last thing I would like to comment that is very, very important is that sometimes, and for example myself in first, I was wrongly misled on purpose to think that my family was part of this satanic cult, of this Freemasonry cult. And it might be at some point some of my ancestors might have signed some contract with Freemasonry. I believe my grandfather. So when someone in your family signed for this kind of contract, it is not that it's only them. This can affect a generational curse. It is called generational curse. So it can affect even the future generation of the family. So you must interrupt, if it is that the case, you must interrupt the link and the connection they hold into your family lineage. So this can be a case. But other times, it can be that your family, it's just the perfect Catholic family. Like, for example, my family. In my family, we are all Catholics. My parents are a high believer. They go to church every week. Sometimes they want to really create mess into the perfect family, into the perfect Catholic family. They want to actually dirt the perfect family. This is one of the favorite occupation of the evil forces, to corrupt the perfect Catholic family. So don't go wrongly into judgment of your family environment, because sometimes nobody is actually aware of these dynamics and what is happening to you or to your children. Sometimes it is just that you are facing a heavy persecution from a cult or a satanic covenant or a witchcraft covenant that your family have nothing to do about. So be very mindful on this before you spread wrong judgment on the person, on your family environment. And another thing is that if you have memories about one of your family members abusing you, you have to be very careful, because these kind of entities and these kind of people that are involved in these cults, they know how to literally enter. I explained this already in my channel, but what they do is that they have a way to enter with the astral body another person. So sometimes, even though it was physically one of your family members perpetrating the abuse, actually it can be that wasn't them in reality. So this can create a lot of mess into families. This can create a lot of hurt into families. And this is why this kind of experiences can be very disruptive and very awful for the victim, both, and the family members, because it can create a lot of mistrust into your field of your home environment. And this is why we must be aware of their wicked method in order to not cut someone that never bleeds you. So I mean, this is important in order to not lose contact with someone that actually loves you a lot, that is your parents, your brothers, your cousin, your grandfather, whatever. They use this method because they know the brutal effect that they can create, and they do this on purpose, because the more you hurt, the more they gain energy. The more they create discomfort, the more they gain power. The more you suffer, the more they are empowered. They are energy vampire. These people are sick. We are talking about psychopaths. Psychopaths that arrive at such a sick point to actually getting pleasure and energy from the pain and the suffering of someone else, especially children. This is terrible. So all these dynamics must be very clear, and you must be very cautious when you approach and revisit these kind of traumatic events, because if not, you have the risk to ruin the relationship with your family, when actually they might be the perfect and most kind persons in this world. So this is almost, I think I said everything I wanted to say. I'm very proud and I succeeded in this. Before I close, I would like to say that I will leave in the description box a deliverance prayer. You can do this prayer yourself and follow the instruction. I did this a year ago. This was my first step towards my freedom. But on my experience, actually, it worked for a while, but then later on, it actually worsened my situation for a few months before I found this Bright Ministry church. So I truly suggest you to not do this alone and seek the help and the support of an expertise and someone that is actually prepared to fully support you in this deliverance journey. So that said, I think I can close this video and give you an anticipation. I'm going to do a next video about energy protection method, the method I use that are very effective, because right now I faced since few months a very heavy spiritual attacks. So I got quite skilled into energy protection. We're going to see together white magic methods in order to protect your energy field. This can help you even to heal from physical hurt. For example, I notice when they attack me, because I develop some kind of chronic pain, like for example that they attack heavily my throat chakra. I sometimes have pain at my judgment tooth, and I'm a dentist, so I know what I'm talking about. My tooth is perfectly healthy. What they do is that they create pain. The pain is just the physical effects of the spiritual draining and the spiritual siphoning they're doing into your aura. So we are going to see all of that in the next video. I'm very happy. I'm very proud. Actually, I made it. Oh, thank you so much for your patience. I hope this was useful. Please spread this video to whoever you might think is in need of this knowledge. And if you are aware of anyone, especially children, that are facing these troubles right now, or that were victims of any kind of abuse, it's very important that you let the parents know and let the parents be aware of these dynamics and how it actually works. So I'm very happy. To the next XOXO, and stay lightful, stay bright, shining bright. I love you so much. And don't forget the bell.